Hi there, darling hearts. Happy Sunday. It's Gaps Coach Emma here, Timeless Cookery. Happy Sunday. It's the middle of the day. I was hoping for a bit more sun, but at least yesterday it was lovely, and I was up at Tablehurst Farm at their lambing day. I was asked to give a talk, and so I made myself thoroughly unpopular by talking about something uncomfortable, as usual. But there was a few other things that were on my mind this morning, because there's these, things are coming through the door now. A feel-good lawn all year round. Let us come and do your lawn for you. We'll come every 2 weeks or whatever, and we'll mow it and make sure it's got no weeds in it. But hidden dangers, I'm not going to say who the company is, but I mean, they be spraying it with a whole heap of nasty pesticides, guaranteed, because you want a nice lawn with stripes on it. You don't want any dandelions and daisies in it, do you? So they'd be spraying it. So these things are actually really dangerous, in my humble opinion. So they come through the door, and I use them as firelighters. And yeah, we want to let the weeds grow. The insects need the dandelions, like big time. So yeah, watch out for stuff like that. And also, these appeared in the kitchen. I have no idea where they came from. Quarter pounder beef, cooked from frozen, 100% beef. And it's like, ooh, they look nice. And then you read the label, read the ingredients, which if you're a gapster, if you're worried about your health in any way, shape or form, you've got to read the labels, right? Because this 100% beef burger also contains maltodextrin, dextrose, sugar, spices, spice extract, whatever that is. What's that? It's like a natural flavouring, is it? Natural flavourings are not natural. They come from something natural originally, and then they squeeze it and squoze it and put solvents in it and extract something and then concentrate it and then colour it. I mean, they're not natural. So spice extract for me is like, oops, don't go there. And flavourings, again, flavourings. What do you mean by flavourings? What do you mean by flavourings? What exactly is in this beef burger? So you don't want to be eating rubbish like that. You just want a nice quarter pounder. Do you know what I mean? Like just meat. You don't need extra dextrose and all that nonsense in it. What are they playing at? It's this, read the labels, because there's so much rapeseed and sunflower oil hidden in things that you just don't want in your system. Thank me later. So, I was at Tablehurst Farm, and talking about unpopular subjects. I was talking about why the DEFRA vets, the vets that are working for DEFRA or under DEFRA supervision or whatever, come round to the farm, poke the cows with something, and then see if they get a reaction, like BCG, TB, tuberculosis thing, right? And then if the cow gets a reaction, they go, oh, that cow's reacted, even though the cow had no symptoms whatsoever, right? And then they have to be isolated from the herd, and sometimes the cows have to go off and be slaughtered. But they had no symptoms to begin with. This is just this kind of fictional, imaginary bug that they're saying, you've got to be careful of that. And then they don't let you sell raw milk on the farm for 6 months or something until the danger is past. But I would like the opportunity to be able to choose for myself whether I would like to drink that milk, not be dictated to by controlling entities. So there's ways around that, which I talked about in my talk, and I'll put the talk in the chat here, so you can have a look at it if you like, because we videoed it. But my talk coincided with lots of other amazing things, because they were playing music, and there was poetry corner, and people were doing poetry, and people were enjoying the sunshine. And in the barn where I was supposed to be giving the talk, there was a total of 8 people, when there could have been about 150. And I was like, yeah, well, who really wants to listen to what I'm banging on about? But it's so important, because access to raw milk is essential, in my book, for the majority of people with gut dysbiosis or, gapsters with leaky gut. Access to raw milk so that we can ferment it into kefir or cultured cream and yogurt is essential for healing. So, Poetry Corner I was competing with. And then, straight after my talk, a magic man came and did a magic show. And everyone was going, magic show in the barn, magic show in the barn, magic show in the barn. And there was about 200 people in there. And I was like, oh, how can I compete? How can I get the audience? I did try to entertain them with a little ditty at the beginning, a little song, which I won't bore you with now, but I will do it one day. And there is poetry that describes the stuff that I'm talking about. There's a lot of it, and here's one little ditty I'll just leave you as a parting gift. They hanged the man and flogged the woman who stole the goose from off the common, yet let the greater villain loose that stole the common from the goose. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, with DEFRA vets coming in and saying, you can't sell raw milk. It's none of their business. It's none of their business what we put in our mouths or put in our bodies. We choose. We do the risk assessment by using our noses and our eyes and our, senses, and by talking to the farm manager, talking to the man who manages the herd. What are you feeding your cows? Do you inject them with anything? Cool. Hopefully he says no. May I have some raw milk? Thank you so much. And then I choose whether I want to eat it or not be dictated to by the government, yeah? So the way around this is to become a private members club. So I want to encourage you to all go out and talk to your farmer friends and say, hey, how about if you become a private members club? And then when the so-called authorities come round and try and dictate how you deal with your livestock and how you treat your customers, like denying them certain foods or whatever, you can say to the authorities, thank you so much for your concern. You're very kind. I think you'll find if you look at this paperwork, show them your membership agreement, that I'm not actually under your jurisdiction, and that your public servant legislation does not apply. Bye-bye. It's not difficult. And putting things into trust and making private members associations is just what everyone else does who's taking the mickey, like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. These guys are just taking the mickey with their trusts and, their own private members clubs. Well, if you can't beat them, join them. Let's, use these tactics to protect ourselves and protect our assets. Yeah? So, hi Andrew, hi Donna, lovely to see you all. I think that's what I wanted to say. My kefir grains, I noticed, right, when I feed them on raw milk, they grow massive. They grow twice the size, and I'm having to split them and give them away to people left, right and centre when I feed my milk kefir grains on raw milk. And when I feed them on pasteurised stuff, they're just like, meh, whatever. I mean, I still get a kefir that's palatable, and I drink it, and it gives me good probiotics, and I can still make my eggnogs and things. Cool. But when I feed my kefir grains raw milk, they love it. They plump up, they double in size, they're just like humming with vibrant energy from all of the enzymes. And oh, look at all those love hearts and kisses. Thank you so much. I love you too. So we need raw milk, and we don't need the authorities stepping in and telling us that we can't have it if it's on offer, So finding ways around the legislators is simple when you follow Peacekeepers. It's a great organisation, and they are wearing their court auditor shirts, and they're going into the courts and they're saying, I think you'll find that by your own rules you're not actually doing this correctly, and you'll find that this administrative court where you're trying to fine someone here is actually unlawful. And some of the barristers are sort of scratching their heads, and the judges are actually going, I hear, yes, I see. Okay, thank you very much. Case dismissed. Bang. It's happening, right? So go and check out Peacekeepers, right? There's lawful and there's legal, and they're different. And lawful is cause harm, loss and injury to no man. So if they're coming at you for fines or for debt or something like that, these administrative courts are unlawful. And you just need to get the right frame of mind and a few phrases and a bit of precedent, which Peacekeepers have provided for you for free. Go and have a look on their website. And then you can stand on your rights in a good mood, smiling and waving and saying, hello, Your Honour, and being in honour, because you're not arguing, you're just saying, this is not lawful. Because where's the victim, So instead of them bullying us and frightening us all and going, we're going to make you pay fines, etc., if you don't do what we say, and you're not allowed to sell raw milk and blah, 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 we can just smile and wave and say, I think you'll find. We've got to do our homework, and we've got to get the paperwork in place. You've got to constitute as a private members club properly. You've got to get your members all to sign with a wet signature that they agree to your terms. And my terms, or the terms of the farm, could be, this farm is governed and farmed by these principles, blah, 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 blah. And this farm, by the agreement of all members, if you remember, you agree, that it's not under the jurisdiction of the public servants. It's under the jurisdiction of the private specialist biodynamic farmers who sing carols to their farm animals at Christmas time. You know, they love the animals. The animals are allowed to express themselves. They're not given nasty hormones and, you know, antibiotics routinely and stuff like that. They're loved, those animals. And yet still, the so-called authorities come in and poke them with something and say, oh, I poked that cow with a thing and now it's got a bump. That means it's got antibodies. And you can't sell raw milk, all right? And we can go, ha, there's no need for your tests, thank you. And if the membership, or if the administrators of the farm would like to, you know, show willing to the members of the congregation, members of the audience, members of the public, the sheeple, whatever, who are still scared about germs for germ theory, and they're still believing in the mainstream narrative about the reductionist idea of isolating one tiny little germ and trying to kill it, which is stupid, because we're made of germs. That's the root of that word, germination. That's where life springs from. You're made of germs. We are germs. You know, your human frame is outnumbered 10 to 1. On a cellular level by germs, and we need them. We're working with them. We're working symbiotically, and so are the cows. Don't need a vet coming in and giving them a little jab and then, you know, putting the fear in everyone. But if the farm wanted to, it could say, we're doing our own testing and we'll give you the results, and then you can choose whether you'd like raw milk or not. That's fair, isn't it? Not depriving people who are trying to heal of their healing food just because of some antibodies or some lump on a cow that a vet made because it poked him with something. It's not okay. Okay, so go and check out Peacekeepers. I think you'll find them very useful. You know, especially if you're struggling with debt or you know, afraid of being fined and things. Peacekeepers.org.uk, I think they are. Hi, Tracy. And what was the other thing I wanted to tell you about? Peacekeepers. Oh yeah, MFS-PMA. MFS-PMA. Is an organisation that can help you create a trust, help you do all the paperwork, make sure it's all done officially and lawfully, so that should you go to court for anything, all your paperwork's in. I know nobody wants to go to court, but there will be test cases on this kind of thing, you can guarantee it. But until we have test cases, then everything's still tits up. So somebody's got to be brave and go out there and start the ball rolling. I know that this system has been successful in America in courts. So I haven't any examples of it here. I mean, the being a private members association, private members club, and saying no, thank you very much to the authorities. I haven't got an example of that in the UK, but I have got an example of it in a few examples of it in America. Is that what I wanted to say? MFS.PMA. Oh yeah, they have like a really nice Tuesday evening social where people who are wrapping their heads around the concept of your straw man and it's not common law exactly, it's equity law, it's contract law. It's like, where's the contract? When was there an agreement, a meeting of minds on this issue? Did you come and consult with me to see if you could go and test the cows for TB? Did you consult with me? No? Oh, well, my representative at Parliament did it. Oh, well, my representative should have asked me about that, you know, so that's discounted. There wasn't a meeting of the minds. I'm not in agreement, so whatever contract you think we have is null and void. So let's start again. Let's talk. Let's bring it to the table and talk about it and renegotiate this contract, please. You know, remember, we come first, the people. And then we ask a representative to go to the House of Commons so that they can debate about stuff and argue about stuff, and then the House of Lords can argue about it or whatever. And then they make legislature. But that doesn't mean law. It doesn't mean it's like written in stone and you have to do what they say. It's guidance, okay, to try and make things equitable. But there needs to be contracts. Anyway, go and check out, what do we call it? Peacekeepers, because it's quite interesting. Okay, darling hearts, have a beautiful Sunday. I've been so busy doing my, I've got GAPS retreats happening. I'm doing GAPS boot camp. I'm filming these great sort of 2-hour meal prep batch cooking, freezer, get ready for the freezer type videos, which will all be on the GAPS app by this June, I'm hoping. I would have uploaded them. I'm doing intro through the stages with a 2-hour batch cooking session. So I'll say, get all these ingredients, join me for this video, switch, press go, do you know what I mean? And then cook along with me in the kitchen. And then after a couple of hours, you'll have a few meals and something in the freezer, and you'll have some cake to nyam on, and you'll have some satisfying little treats to nibble, and for intro through the stages, all different ones. So that's 5 stages. And that's fun. And yeah, I've got a lovely lady coming to see me in June, and we're doing that thing at Nebworth at the beginning of June. We're going camping at Nebworth, first weekend of June. Nutrient Nirvana. Paul is organising it from Nutrient Nirvana. And we're going to camp out and sing around the campfire and put the world to rights and have a laugh. So love to see you there. And have a lovely weekend. And lots of love. And see me at timelesscookery.com if you have got any gut issues or you know anyone who's suffering with mystery illness, because I know some secrets and I can share it with them. All right, lots of love. Bye.